Game Master in Action presents Biographies, stories of characters that you should meet, or maybe better, avoid.
The modern history of the House Kataskopos begins about 250 years ago, when its family rights were taken away. In those days, the house was known as the Great House of Valar. What exactly was behind such a decision is now hard to say, as those matters are not public. But there are rumors of some actions against the Great Convention. The punishment was temporary, with the possibility of applying for the regranting of family rights. Some say that the punishment was indeed to break political ambitions and lead to internal divisions, which actually did in fact happen. In exile, over time, the heirs of the House Valar divided over a rivalry over the rights to the future ducal title. Since then, in the history of the House Valar, we speak of the Kataskopos and Carian lines. Each went its own way, and in its own way seeked redemption in the eyes of the Emperor. The paths of two sister houses never later came together.
The House Kataskopos is the house of the characters in the scenario Tears of Inoria. You will find the link to that scenario in the description below.
While lineage descendants were engaged in expanding mutual antipathy and sick competition, a planet now known as Inoria was discovered in another part of the empire. What caught the attention of the imperial ecologist and thus the then Emperor Elrond IX was a certain natural resource found on this planet, which showed chances of becoming a substitute for melange. However, years of research and a family that would be both competent in this field and easy to control were needed to make this happen. As one might guess, the Emperor was primarily concerned with discretion and exclusivity for a possible substitute. It so happened that the next generation in the Kataskopos line was already passionate about science and biochemistry, and about 50 years ago, an imperial decree ended the banishment of both branches of the family, but forbade the use of the original name. Thus, two new houses were created, the House Kataskopos and the House Carian. The Kataskopos family got possession of Inoria, along with the order to conduct research on the Inorian Dew, the possible substitute for melange, and the direct seniority of the House Corino. The Carian family gained a small moon of little importance, which in their eyes is a humiliation. The current ruler of the Kataskopos family is Tayden, born and raised on Inoria. He was educated under the supervision of Ortan Bitumin, chief advisor of the Inorian dukes. Unlike his predecessors, Tayden did not inherit a passion for science and developed mainly as a politician, entrusting Mentat Nostius to oversee the research. Some see this as Tayden's mistake, considering Nostius a Mentat of questionable loyalty. In Tayden's eyes, politics matter more. He believes that the Emperor is using the house for his research, and as long as they are tied to Inoria and the research, they will remain an insignificant house. Therefore, the Duke is looking for allies in other powerful houses and considers Vladimir Harkonnen as his main ally and friend. Although unconfirmed, it is said that Tayden has won the respect of the House Harkonnen by granting asylum or even sponsoring smugglers associated with the theft of goods from Caladan. How much truth there is in this, it's hard to say, but the fact is that Tayden shares an antipathy towards the Atreides, which definitely unites him with the house from Gedi Prime. Tayden's wife is Lady Castilia. Trained as the Bene Gesserit, she is known for her self-control and ability to exercise clear judgment. It is worth noting that Lady Castilia was forced to cut all ties with the sisterhood more than 2 decades ago. Duke Tayden is known for his hatred and contempt towards the Bene Gesserit, to the point that they are not allowed on the planet, and the slightest mention of the congregation triggers a rage attack in the Duke. There are various rumors about the genesis of this hatred, from a broken heart to much darker furies related to the assassination of his mother. It is worth mentioning that the head of the sister house has a 19-year-old daughter from Bene Gesserit. In truth, the Duchess does not officially maintain contact with the sisterhood. It is said that although not often but regularly, a courier supposedly from Vallach 9, the Bene Gesserit planet, arrives on Inoria. The heir to the throne is 17-year-old Lard, and it's not a secret that Tayden has no affection for him. Supposedly, for a rather trivial reason, the young man reminds him of someone. The fact is that he has an apparition similar to Bartius, the head of the House Kataskopos, so much that some even suspected infidelity on the part of the Duchess, but those rumors were laughed off even by the Tayden himself. It is more likely that Lord is in his father's disfavor through his political views and fascination with Duke Leto Atreides. For the past few years, Lard has been studying at Khitan, where he is receiving education in diplomacy and house management. Regardless of his attitude toward his son, Tayden is aware of the importance of giving the young man a good education and give him a chance to make political connections without regard to the cost of such an education. Duke Tayden's main advisors are Ordan Mitumin, an elderly Inorian who was a trusted member of the family back in the old Duke's time. He is the family's representative at the Khitan and Landsrat meetings. The chief scientist of the family is the aforementioned Nostius. He comes from a small Inorian village. The old prince noticed scientific potential in him, which resulted in him being sent for a mentor training. He only gained the position of the chief scientist under Tayden, who makes no secret of the fact that he is not a scientist and he has people for that, specifically Nostius. It is worth mentioning in a few sentences the sister House Kataskopos. The granting of the larger planet and the direct seniority of the House Corino was a humiliation for the smaller and weaker family. The former rivalry had now turned into a dream of revenge, and while the Kataskopos of Inoria may enjoy their victory, they undoubtedly live with the knowledge that somewhere out there their cousins are just waiting for them to slip up. But not everyone in the Kataskopos family is driven by the ancestral feuds. There are those like Kyros of Inoria who dream of uniting two houses and regaining their former glory.
Thank you for your attention, and see you in the next episode of Biographies by Game Master in Action.